everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this lovely shell stitch up into a square. Now this is a fantastic technique to be making up baby blankets or a blanket for yourself or just for a gift. You can make up these squares as large or as small as you want. I have recently been making these up in cotton. I tend to go maybe a few more rounds out to make up washcloths, or you could make these up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds and make them into coasters. It's entirely up to you. So all we need to do now is to grab some yarn. I'll show you what I'm going to use and let's get started. So for today's example, I'm going to be showing you using this lovely aqua colour double knit weight yarn. Now you obviously can use whatever weight yarn that you like. What I will do is pop the details of this yarn in that description box down below because I can't remember the name of this yarn. So as always, do check out that description box down below. I'm also going to be showing you how to change colour with this beautiful canary yellow. Now I'm using a double knit weight yarn, but I'm going to go up half a hook size. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook. I need my work to be nice and loose, so I don't want the tension to be too tight. So I do that by going up at least half a hook size. You may find a stitch marker helpful, it's not essential. You'll need a darning needle to sew in your ends and of course a small pair of scissors. So we're going to start round one by using the magic circle. Now this is how I do mine. You obviously can just make your magic circle however you do yours. Now I have my tail end at the front. I wrap around those two fingers, pull that yarn across. I go under with my hook, grab that yarn and pull it through. Gently take my fingers out. Make sure you have your working yarn, not your tail end. You're just going to put in a chain to secure. Then what I do is tend to take my end out there. I know it's a magic circle because if I pull on this tail end, it closes up nicely. Now, if you really have a problem using the magic circle, I suggest what you do is just literally chain 4 and then join with a slip stitch to form a loop. But we're ready to go. I have chained 1. I'm going to chain another 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. So this chain of 4 in total is going to count as 1 UK treble, that's 1 US double, and a chain space. Now what we're going to do is work in this magic circle. We're going to put 7 UK trebles. So again, that's US doubles. So a UK treble, just as a recap, is yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through. So I have 1, 2, 3 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn and pull through 2. So that's my first treble. In between each treble, I'm going to chain 1. So again, another treble. So it's grab the yarn, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So again, I'm going to chain 1, then I'm going to carry on with my trebles. Remember, chain 1 in between. So if I show you this chain that we started with counts as 1 treble, then I have done a further 1, 2, 3. So I need to put another 4 trebles with a chain 1 in between each. So I've done another 4 trebles, I've added my chain 1. Now what we're going to do is just pull on our tail and that should close your centre up just nicely. What we're going to do to join is count 3 up of that initial chain 4, 1, 2, and this one here. I'm just going to do a slip stitch to join. So slip stitch is pull that yarn through and the one that's on your hook. Tighten that up nicely. And we have finished round 1. What you can do is just count these spokes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, remembering that chain to start with counted as 1 treble. So for round 2, what we need to do, we need to get into this first chain 1 space here. So I'm going to literally start by doing a chain 1 up just for some height. And in this first chain 1 space here, I'm going to put 1 UK double crochet. So that's a US single. So just to recap, a UK double is push through, grab the yarn, pull through, so you have 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2. Then we're going to move to this next chain 1 space just here. I'm going to be putting in 7 UK trebles. So here we go. So that's yarn over first. So that's 1, 2, all in that same space. 3, 4, 5, 6. You may need to just shuffle them round a little bit, and 7. Okay, so we've made our first shell. Turn your work. In this next space going around, we're going to put in just 1 UK double. There we go. In this next chain space round, we're going to be putting in 7 UK trebles. In this next chain 1 space round, we're going to put 1 UK double. In the next space, we're going to do another 7 UK trebles. So at the moment, your work should look like this. We've got 1, 2, 3 shells so far. In the next space round, we're going to do a UK double. And then you've guessed it, in this next space here, we're going to do another 7 trebles. So I've finished my last shell of 7 UK trebles. Now I'm round at the beginning where I did my first UK double. I'm just going to put in a slip stitch to join. And this is what you should have at the end of round 2. So you should have 4 of these lovely shells. So that's going to be 1 in each corner. Now, if you were going to change colour, I will show you how to change colour once we've done a few more rounds. This is the point that we will be changing colour. So, in effect, each round of these lovely shells is built up with like a foundation round and then the actual round when we put these lovely shells in. But just for now, we're going to stay using the same colour. All will become clear as we go out and out. Okay, so we're going to start by chaining 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now this chain of 6 is going to count as 1 UK treble and a chain of 3. Now in the bottom of that same stitch, we're going to put in 1 treble, we're going to chain 1, and then in the same place we're going to put another treble. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Now we're going to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we're going to turn our work and we're going to be working in the top of this UK double here. Okay, so we're going to work like this, and this is going to become a corner. So we're going to do a V-stitch, which is made up of 1 treble. So just do that nice and slowly. Because you've got all of this chain here, you might find it a little bit difficult. Just take your time. Chain 1, then in that space another treble. So that's a V-stitch. So the V-stitch is treble, chain 1, treble. Then we're going to chain 3 for a corner. 1, 2, 3. In this same stitch, we're going to do another treble. So in effect, we're doing another V. So that's a treble, chain 1, and a treble, all in that same stitch. So what you should have here is a lovely corner. Then what we're going to do is chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn our work, locate that UK double from the round before, and we're going to work another corner. So that's going to be a V-stitch, which is 1 treble, chain 1, 1 treble. We're going to work a corner of 3 chains. Then in that same space, we're going to do another V-stitch. So that is 1 treble, chain 1, and 1 treble. So there you see, we have another corner. So now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to turn our work and work in this next UK double here from the round before. We're going to do another corner. So that's going to be a V-stitch. So that's going to be 1 treble, chain 1, and 1 treble. Then we're going to work a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, to take us around the corner, and another V-stitch. So that's 1 treble, chain 1, and 1 treble. So what we have so far, we have started a corner here. We're going to finish that off in a moment. We've gone along the sides. We have 1, 2, 3 corners here. So we just need to finish this round off. We have to chain 5, 3, 4, 5 to get us over to this corner where we started. Now this is where we had our original chain 6. But that counts as a treble and a chain 3. So what we need to do is locate 1, 2, 3, that third chain up. So just keep a hold of that. We need to finish this V-stitch. So where we originally worked in, we're going to be putting 1 treble. Just do this nice and slowly. There's lots of chains here. We're going to chain 1, and in that original 1, 2, 3 chain up, we are going to just simply slip stitch to join. And there we have our round 3. So to start round 4, I need to be over in this corner here. What I'm going to do to start with though is just this first chain of that corner, I'm going to do a slip stitch. So that's just bringing the yarn through and the one that's on your hook. And then in the corner, I'm just going to do 1 UK double crochet. Now we're going to start going around adding those shells. Now, if you struggle to locate where we started the beginning of each round, what you can do at this stage is pop that stitch marker in the top of that first double crochet. Then when you come all the way around, you'll know where you are. Now, obviously, you don't have to use that. It's just a helpful tip. Now what we're going to do in this first V-stitch here from the round before, we're going to put 7 trebles. So this is making up the first shell of this round. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just keep squeezing them in. Now what we need to do is bring this shell down. So what we do from this shell from the previous round, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 stitches. We want to locate the 1, 2, 3, the 4th stitch, okay? So that will be in the middle of that shell. We're just going to do a UK double. So if you notice, this chain will be within the stitch. So just watch what I do. Push through, go through, grab that yarn, pull it through and that chain. Grab the yarn, pull through 2. So that has, in effect, brought that shell down. Now what we need to do is jump to this next V-stitch here. We're going to put in, you've guessed it, 7 UK trebles. Six and 7. In the chain 3 space from the round before, so our corner, we're going to put in 1 UK double. Then in this next V-stitch here, we're going to put in another 7 UK trebles. So I've put in my 7 trebles. Now this is a full corner. What we need to do is go along this side here. Again, we're going to locate the 4th stitch from that shell of 7. So this stitch will be in the middle. Okay, so just again check 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here, I'm going to just work 1 UK double, making sure I sort of get that chain in the middle and then pull through 2, and then that brings that shell down nicely. Now we're going to jump over and work in this corner here. So I'm going to work in this V. I'm going to be putting 7 trebles. In the corner, 1 double, and then in this V, another 7 trebles. and 7. I'm going to show you along the side just one more time. So locate that middle stitch, 1, 2, 3. It will be this fourth one here. Just put in that fourth one, making sure the chain is within the stitch. 1 UK double. Now hop over to the next corner here. So if you remember, in this V-stitch we're going to put 7 trebles. In the corner, 1 double. In this V-stitch here, 7 trebles. You're going to work along this side and I will meet you here to finish off this corner. So I've gone around this corner with these shells. I've worked along the side, so I've done my double crochet in the top of that shell from before. Now I'm locating where I started, so I've left my stitch marker in so I know that's exactly where I started. I need to finish this corner off by putting a shell of 7 trebles in that last V-stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 7. I've done my 7. I'm just going to take out that stitch marker. This was my original double crochet. I'm just going to slip stitch to join. And there we have round 4. So to start round 5, now as I said before, this is the stage where you would change colour. What I'm going to do is another couple of rounds and then I'm going to show you how to do that. But just to start round 5, we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. Again, this is going to count as 1 treble and a corner of chain 3. In this same space here, we're going to put 1 treble. That's the beginning of a V-stitch, chain 1 and 1 treble. Okay, so this is what we should have. This is our corner. This is our V-stitch. We're going along the side, so we're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we're still going along the side. In this double crochet from the round before, we're just going to put 1 V-stitch. So this is what we do when we're working along the side. So again, because we've got all chain here, just do it nice and slowly. So that is 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble in that same stitch. Okay, so we just have 1 V. Now we're going along the side to this corner here. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What we're going to do in this double crochet from the round before, we're going to work a corner. So that's going to be 1 V-stitch, which is a treble, chain 1 and a treble. We're going to chain 3 to take us around the corner. In that same space, we're going to do a V-stitch. So you know it's 1 treble, chain 1 and 1 treble. So we've worked around the corner, we're going along the side, so we're going to chain 5, 3, 4 and 5. Now because we're still on the side, we're just going to put one V-stitch in this double from the round before. So that's treble, 1 chain and a treble. We're still going along the side, so we're going to chain 5, 3, 4 and 5. We need to jump to this double crochet from the round before and work a corner. So that's V-stitch, chain 3 to take us around the corner, and another V-stitch. Now this is how these foundation rounds work each time. We're going along the side, we're going to chain 5 and 5. We're working along the side, remember. So in this stitch, this double from the round before, we're going to put 1 V-stitch. We're still going along the side, so we're going to chain 5. We need to jump to this corner, so this double crochet here, we're working a corner. You know what to do now. So it's a V-stitch, chain 3 and a V-stitch. So now we're working along our final side. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're going to locate this double crochet here from the round before and put in 1 V-stitch. That's just 1 V-stitch. Now we need to jump over to this corner that we started off. We need to finish that first corner, but first we need to chain 5 to get there. Okay, in this original space here, we're going to put in 1 treble, 1 chain. As before, we're going to count up 1, 2, 3 chains, and we're going to slip stitch to join. And there we have round 5. Now again, to start round 6, what we're going to do is slip stitch in that first chain of the corner, and then in the actual corner itself we're going to do 1 double crochet. In this chain 1 space, so in this V-stitch here, we're going to put 7 UK trebles. Six and 7. If I can get hold of it. Now what we're going to do here, you will notice each round that we go round, these shells are going to increase. So we need to deal with 2 of these on this side. So again, what we're going to do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, find that middle stitch of the shell and do a UK double crochet, making sure you've captured that chain in. Now what we have on each side are these single V stitches. So when you have a single V stitch along the side, you're just going to put in 7 trebles. So I've put in my 7 trebles. I still need to find the center of this shell from before. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 4th stitch. I'm going to put in 1 double. Now I'm going to work a corner. So a corner, we're going to locate this V stitch here. I'm going to put 7 trebles in the actual chain 3 space, 1 double, and then in this V here, 7 trebles. So again, I've worked my corner. I'm going to find that center stitch, do my UK double. I have my V-stitch going along the side. I'm going to put my 7 trebles. And 7. Again, locating that center stitch here, do your UK double. Each corner you're going to, in that V, put your 7 trebles, 1 double, 7 trebles, work along the side as I've shown you, and I will meet you around here where I'm going to fasten off, and we're going to change colour. So I've worked around round 6. Now I didn't mark my beginning with a stitch marker because I can just tell. But if you wanted to mark that stitch each time, go ahead. This is my original double crochet that we started off with. But what I need to do is finish this corner. Here is my final V. So I'm just going to put in my shell of 7 trebles. Now, if you're going to continue in the same coloured yarn, you're just going to put a slip stitch in here now using your same colour. But what I want to do, so this is a little bit fiddly to start with, I'm going to actually cut that colour off. I'm just going to grab this colour, which is this lovely yellow. When we slip stitch through that double crochet from the round before, I'm just going to pull a loop through, and the one that's on my hook. Now in a moment these tails I'm going to pull tighter, and then I'm just going to knot them off at the back. So I'm holding them quite taut at the moment. I'm going to start our chain of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so that's quite secure now. I would then just go ahead, tie those in a knot and weave those ends in. So we're starting our corner. So this again, chain 6 is 1 treble and a chain of 3. We need to put in our V-stitch. So it's 1 treble, chain 1 and 1 treble. Okay, we're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're working along our side, so we're going to find this double from the round before and put in just 1 V-stitch. So that's 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble. And then it's chain 5, 3, 4 and 5. Still working along that side, we're going to put in another V-stitch. So that's 1 chain and 1 treble, so you'll know now. So literally we're just going to be repeating rounds 5 and 6. So I'm going to show you one more corner and then I'll get you to finish off round 7. So it's chain of 5 to get us over to the corner. Just as a recap, find that double crochet from the round before. We're going to work a corner, so that is a V-stitch, a chain of 3 to take us around the corner. Oops, I need more yarn. And a V-stitch. So we have worked that full corner. So you're literally going to chain 5, V-stitch, chain 5, V-stitch, chain 5, work your corner, which is a V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. Then you're going to just carry on, and I will just meet you here. So I'm coming to the end of round 7. I've done my chain of 5. I just want to finish this corner here. So I'm going to do my treble. Oops. And of course we're finishing off this V-stitch, so it's a chain 1. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and here I'm going to do a slip stitch to join. So that's the end of round 7. What I'm going to do is just literally start you off on round 8 and then I'll leave you to it. So to start with, in that next chain, we're just going to do a slip stitch. In the corner, I'm going to do 1 double crochet. Now, if you want to mark this, this is the point when you put your stitch marker on. Sorry. This is the point when you put your stitch marker in here. But what I'm going to do is start you off. So in this first V-stitch going along, we're going to put our 7 trebles. And 7. We're going along the side, so I'm going to locate that 1, 2, 3, 4 middle stitch from the shell before and put in 1 double crochet. In this V-stitch going along the side, just 1 shell of 7 trebles. and 7. So again, each time you will notice as you go out and out with your square, these shells are going to increase along the sides. So again, we're going along the side, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this stitch from the shell before, we're going to do 1 double crochet. So you're going to work all the way around. Round 8, you're going to, in this V-stitch here, put a shell of 7 trebles. You're going to put 1 double crochet in the center of this shell. Then you're going to hop over to your corner. It's a shell of 7 trebles, 1 double in the corner, a shell of 7 trebles, and then you're going to work all the way around. I will finish you off on round 8, and then you will just continue out until you get to the size that you require. So I've gone all the way around round 8. I'm finishing off our first corner. I've put my shell of 7 trebles in here, and all I'm going to do now is just slip stitch to join. Okay, so if you want to carry on, all you're going to do is just repeat the last 2 rounds, but I'm now going to finish off, so I'm just going to chain 1. I'm going to cut my yarn. I'm just going to pull the yarn through and just cinch that down. Now all I need to do is to weave in my ends on the back, and that'll be us done. So there you go. What do you think? I absolutely love how this has turned out. Now, as I say, you can just keep going to the size that you require. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial and you found it useful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I will see you here next time. Bye-bye.